You are staring at a small rectangular piece of paper on your kitchen counter. Your heart is beating so hard you can actually hear it thumping in your ears. You have just checked the numbers on your phone screen. Then you check them again. And then you check them a third time. You hold the only winning ticket for the $600 million lottery jackpot. Your first instinct is to scream. You want to call your mom, wake up your best friend, and shout from the balcony that you are never working another day in your life. But you stop. You take a deep breath. You realize that the moment those words leave your mouth, your life as you know it is over. You will no longer be a son, a daughter, a friend, or a coworker. You will become a human ATM, a walking bank vault. So, you make a radical, life-altering decision. You are going to tell absolutely no one. You are going to live the ultimate double life. Here is exactly what happens financially, legally, and psychologically when you win a massive fortune and decide to keep it a complete secret. The first 48 hours are pure paranoia. You suddenly realize that this flimsy piece of paper is a bearer instrument. Whoever holds it owns the money. You sign the back of it immediately. You put it in a plastic bag to protect it from moisture, slide it into a book, and lock that book inside a fireproof safe. You do not sleep. You research kidnapping statistics. You look out your window at every passing car. You are terrified that someone, somehow knows. Monday morning arrives and you go to work. Your alarm goes off at 6, you drink your mediocre coffee, and you sit in traffic. When your boss sends you a frustrating email, you do not quit in a blaze of glory. You just smile. A quiet, secret smile. You know that you could buy the entire company and fire him, but you just nod and do your job. The psychological shift is immediate. The stress of paying bills is completely gone, replaced by a strange, quiet invincibility. But the money is not yours yet. You have a ticking clock to claim it, usually between 180 days to a year, depending on your state. You do not rush to the lottery headquarters with a giant cardboard check. That is financial suicide. Instead, you hire a team. You need a tax attorney, a certified public accountant, and a wealth management advisor. You do not hire local professionals. You go to a major financial hub and hire a white-glove firm that deals exclusively with ultra-high net worth individuals. Your legal team explains the brutal reality of the math. $600 million is just the advertised annuity. If you want the cash up front, the lump sum is usually about half. So your prize drops to roughly $300 million. Then the IRS takes the top federal tax rate of 37%. If you live in a high tax state, they will take another 8 to 10%. Suddenly, your $600 million jackpot is about $170 million in actual liquid cash hitting your bank account. It is still an astronomical sum, but you quickly realize why lottery winners who do not understand taxes go broke so fast. Now comes the most critical legal maneuver. How do you claim the money without your name ending up on the evening news? If you live in a state like Delaware, Kansas, or Wyoming, you are in luck. The law allows winners to remain completely anonymous. But if you live in a state that requires public disclosure, your lawyers will create a legal fortress. They will form a blind trust or a limited liability company. They might name it something entirely boring, like the Blue Sky Management Trust. Your lawyer will be the one who physically signs the paperwork and claims the prize on behalf of the trust. Your name never appears in the public record. The money hits your private banking account. The zeros stretch across the screen. You are officially part of the 0.001%. But you still have not told a soul. Now begins the real challenge, the stealth wealth lifestyle. How do you spend $170 million without looking like you have $170 million? You cannot pull up to your middle-class neighborhood in a bright green Lamborghini. You cannot buy a $50 million mansion. If you do, your secret is blown. So you develop a cover story, a really good one. You tell your family and friends that you got a new job. Maybe you say you were hired as a remote consultant for an international tech company, or that a small software startup you invested in years ago finally paid off. You make the story believable. You claim you are making $200,000 or $300,000 a year. This fake salary is your alibi. It explains why you can suddenly afford a nicer car, why you are eating at better restaurants, and why you're taking nicer vacations. Your spending habits change, but in ways that fly completely under the radar. This is the art of quiet luxury. You stop wearing fast fashion, but you do not buy clothes with giant designer logos. You buy Loro Piana sweaters and Brunello Cucinelli jackets. They cost $3,000 each, but to the untrained eye, they just look like a nice plain sweater. You trade in your old sedan, but you do not buy a Rolls-Royce. You buy a top-of-the-line Volvo or a sleeper Audi RS6. It looks like a safe family car, but it costs over $100,000 and has the engine of a supercar. You upgrade your living situation, but strategically. You sell your house and buy a beautiful $4 million home in a very nice suburb. You tell your friends you took out a massive mortgage and the new consulting job is paying for it. Inside the house, however, you spare no expense. You have a private chef who comes during the day while your friends are at work. You have top-tier security systems. You sleep on a mattress that costs more than most people's cars. But living a lie is exhausting. The psychological burden of extreme hidden wealth starts to take a toll. You go out to dinner with your oldest friends. They are splitting a bill, arguing over who had the extra beer and stressing about a $50 tip. You have enough money in your checking account to buy the restaurant, the building, and the entire city block. But you have to sit there, pull out your credit card, and pretend to care about a $50 split. The disconnect between your reality and theirs becomes a massive, invisible wall. You desperately want to help them. You see your sister struggling with her student loans. You see your parents working into their late 60s because they cannot afford to retire. This is where the secret becomes painful. If you just hand them $1 million, the secret is out. They will demand to know where it came from. So, you get creative. You use your legal team to play God from the shadows. You have your lawyer contact your parents' mortgage company and pay off their house through an anonymous trust. The bank sends your parents a letter saying their debt has been settled by an anonymous philanthropic organization. They cry. They call you to celebrate the miracle, and you have to pretend to be just as shocked as they are. You set up shell companies to hire your friends for consulting work, paying them triple their usual rate for easy tasks. You fund scholarships at your niece's school, completely anonymously. You become a secret guardian angel, orchestrating their financial freedom without ever taking the credit. But even with the good deeds, the isolation is profound. Wealth is an amplifier. It magnifies whoever you already are, but it also creates distance. You can afford to fly private to Paris on a Tuesday, but you have no one to go with because all your friends are working your 9-to-5 jobs. If you invite them and pay for everything, they will get suspicious. If you go alone, you are sitting in a 5-star hotel suite drinking $1,000 champagne in total silence. You realize why so many lottery winners eventually lose their wines, even if they do not lose their money. The human brain is not wired to suddenly have unlimited resources without a purpose. So, you have to invent a purpose. You start investing in businesses. You start secretly funding charities. You spend your days learning about architecture, art, or ocean conservation. You treat your wealth like a full-time job, because if you do not, the boredom and the secrecy will slowly eat you alive. Years go by. Your friends just think you are a highly successful consultant who is really good at saving money. Your family is financially secure, completely unaware that you are the invisible hand pulling the strings. You never had to deal with the begging letters from strangers. You never had long-lost cousins knocking on your door asking for investments. You avoided the infamous lottery curse entirely. You won the game. You beat the system. You have all the security and freedom in the world without sacrificing your privacy. But as you sit on the deck of a yacht in the Mediterranean, thousands of miles away from the life you used to know, you look out at the water and ask yourself one final question. Is it better to have everything and share it with no one, or to risk everything just to be truly known? It is the one problem that $170 million cannot solve. If you found this deep dive into the hidden mechanics of wealth and psychology fascinating, make sure to hit that subscribe button for more explorations into the secrets of money and human behavior.